And we are live with a book
Yay.
and a beverage and a book launch with the one and only Laura Huie, who wrote one of my two favorite books of the year so far, The Sunset Sovereign. But we'll get into that. But first of all, how are you doing, Laura?
I am doing fantastic. It's Tuesday, and you know what? The sun's not shining, and that's my favorite way to enjoy weather.
Well, it looks like you're kind of in a cave anyway.
I am. I'm in the basement. Like I said, I don't like when the sun shines.
Yeah, I've in the Mike looks like he might actually have windows where he is, but
I do. And the
He
man.
enjoys the daylight. Yes, I was actually debating about matching your mannequin, but then I accidentally wore it to the gym instead. I was like, I know you guys can't smell me, but I don't want to wear dirty clothes.
so what you really said there, Mike, was I was thinking about joining your mannequin, but then I had something better to do.
You know, I'm just gonna take a drink.
You know, Ro, this Grami is going to come with me to Crash City Con later this month.
Is he not going to Huntington with you?
We got a 6-foot table. I can't fit him in.
I thought it was an 8-foot table.
I think it's I think either way,
I'll tell you in a second. Sorry, we're going off track, but
Well, you guys are
that's what
fine.
we
This is
do.
how it
already.
goes. Yeah.
Crash
That
City, we're
is-
getting a 10 by 10 space, so
That's our
lots of
thing.
room there.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a tremendous mass space.
So Laura, what is book 2? What is the? Can you tell us the title?
Yes, it's called The Astray Chosen, which I wanted to make sure I kept with the title theme of chosen going on and the various stages, book 1 being The Unchosen,
Yep.
and then book 2 will follow 2 different main characters and how they are, well, deviating from their original chosen paths and what's going to end up happening. Some are doing it willingly, some are doing it because they've lost faith in their original goal. So that's
So-
the kind of the main conflict, and those 2 people are on the opposite sides. So
Okay.
So you have a multiple POV kind of thing going on?
yes, there's 3 in this book, but one of the characters, his chapters are literally like a page or 2 long. It's more of a reminder he's still alive. I
I
promise.
hadn't forgotten about this guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you always wonder about that. Even when reading like Lord of the Rings, I'd be going through it and going, okay, but I don't care what Frodo and Sam are doing. We know they're trudging across the landscape, right? Let's get back to what Aragorn's doing, you know?
But Frodo makes such a great friendship. That's because you hung out with him for so long.
Yeah, they're pals. I get it. But they're still just walking across the tundra, you know.
Thanks, Cave.
So what is your story about? What are these like? You mentioned this before, but remind us again what book 1 is about, and then what we have to look forward to in book 2.
So book 1, the gods have gone silent. The people are taking action and rising up against them, starting with her, and she was chosen by the gods to lead with them. So what kind of went on? She vanished 2 years ago, and she actually doesn't know this. It's an amnesia trope, and someone from another world just shows up going, oh my gosh, I finally found you. I love you. I'm so happy to see you. And she's like, I have no clue who you are. His name is Winston, and he has known her for over a decade. And they used to be lovers in the other world. And his turmoil is that she no longer knows him, but he still loves her and he will keep her safe. And that's kind of the conflict of balancing. And in book 1, at the end, it's revealed he is working alongside one of the missing gods that no one's hearing. That's why he kind of brought her back, which is a little messed up because she was happy and safe here on Earth until he kind of brought some other trouble. So that's kind of the conflict that happens, and near the end he realizes he has screwed and ruined her life, that he was after something, had hoped that she would gain her memories back, that they could fix her and gain them, they'd be happy lovey-dovey all over again, and realized he wasn't appreciating who she was now. And he's trying to fix that by turning against the gods with her, because she does not like what the gods are doing and does not care even to lead anymore. She's like, I've been gone for 2 years. They kind of figured it out. I don't see why I'm needed here anymore. And into book 2, she does not have her. She's God chosen, great, powerful person, right? Chosen to lead everyone. Turns out her powers are horrible. She used to be able to make a portal to Earth, and now she can't even make a basic portal. In my world, people use portals as doors instead. You raise the Earth up, you make a house, woot! But instead of making hinges, you toss a portal over and you can go in and out of the house. And she can't even make magic like that. She could flick the lights on and off. She could do little fireworks. But she's not this all-powerful person, and she tries to gain this strength in a place where she is safe. She also found out who made her memories vanish and the reason why, and she hates. I'm totally with you, Tim, by the way. That's the origin of this. I hated making travel scenes. It's because of portals. That's why portals happen.
That's why Grommy can fly.
Yes. It's just so much faster.
In my first series, I was coming up against that too. It's like, oh my God, it's going to take them weeks to get where they need to go. So I just created something that would get them there. And then at the end of the series, I destroyed most of them. So it's like, okay, we don't
Yeah. Mike did a great job making a fast ship, by the way. And he talked about time passing.
Oh, in Mike's book?
Yeah.
Mike did research. That was kind of well done.
It was more than kind of. I thought it was really well done.
So was chapter 18 super cringy for you?
Was that when he walked in on his brother?
No,
that
was only moderately cringy.
I was tempted to bring a bowl of grapes, but I only had green ones. I was really tempted. I was like, I don't know how he would take that joke.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Well,
So
where he had his run in with the old lady hooker.
Okay.
You don't need to look that up now.
I do know which one. I know people who relate to that chapter, and I was remembering their own stories and experiences.
This took an unexpected turn.
So I found out one guy at work who bought the book and he read it and came back and goes, chapter 18 and 19 are exactly the same, right? And I'm like, what?
Oh, hold on, Mike. Public service announcement. Mike has some very valid information for you all on what not to do when you get ready to launch your book. Pay attention. Get out some notepaper. Go ahead, Mike. Tell him how you lost $1,000.
So chapter 18, and it was longer, and I wanted to get rid of it, and Ro told me I can't because he figured he could embarrass me for the rest of as long as we know each other if it stayed in there. So I was like, well, I'm going to rewrite it. And I was like, too late in the game. I can't lose anything. So I'll just, copy chapter 18. I'll make my changes in one of them. I'll pick which one I want, and I'll delete the other. And then I did.
Don't you, Laura? You see the train crash heading down the tracks. Okay.
And now I'm doing book tours. I've sent over 60 of these out to book reviewers. And I just found out that chapters 18 and 19 are the exact same chapter except for the number.
Well, I could say this. That copy did not have that. I don't think mine did, because I was bouncing between ebook and paper whenever my kids would let me.
So, yeah, I must make every mistake. This is what I've realized, and I'm well on my way.
Hey, they happen. The advantage of self-publishing, you could easily push that change.
So I'm just going to tell people that.
You're right. They are. I didn't even notice. Yeah.
And the worst part of this, the whole thing, is that this was after Ro edited, so I can't blame this on Ro. I so want to blame this on Ro.
I would blame it on your printer.
So there you go.
Fully on Ingram
Yes,
Spark.
that's right. Ingram Spark. They did it.
I do know someone who was published traditionally, and on their book launch, they forgot to put in 5 chapters.
Oof.
Yes. So they had to resend out all of those. And I felt so bad for that author. I'm not naming who it is, but they were crying quite a bit and everything. And
so, Timothy, I have ordered, I have 150 copies, hardback and paperback. So if you want one of those, it'll be worth millions. Contact me. I'll happily sell you one.
Just compare it to the famous romance author. Her one cover, they actually put 3 arms on the hero on the cover. And this was 15, 16 years ago.
Oof, wow.
Yeah, he has one arm up here on her and another wrapped around her and another one on his sword.
Because AI makes it look pretty doesn't mean it makes it look right.
This
And
wasn't
I know
AI.
that-
This
I
is
know that was
before
AI.
AI.
I know it wasn't. Yeah.
Ugh.
And it's worth now money to have those covers. So,
So Laura, is the Sunset Sovereign, is that in Spiffbo?
Yes, that is an SPFBO 10. So,
Uh,
and
and what
I
group?
I am in Philip Chase's group, and his filter kind of judge that's working for him is Abel, and he spoiled me with a lot of reviews. He read my book second out of his batch, and I got 4 different reviews in total from him.
Oh
So
wow.
Nice.
yeah, I was really surprised. I'm happy to go down sinking at this point. But yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of, we actually got somebody that actually won the Spiffbo lottery here. That's kind of nice. So I mean, what were you thinking when you saw that? Hey, I actually got in.
I'm like losing internet, or is that him?
No, that's Ro.
Okay.
And Nick, we don't want to talk about it.
What the hell just happened?
You like froze.
You I didn't freeze. You froze. Never mind that. Disregard.
I felt kind of piecing the little chunks that came in. I was throwing my luck out there. If I got in, hooray! But because I was in it the year before, I was 100% fine. Getting cut on. I originally thought that my Sunset Sovereign had kind of ridden out its career at that point because it was over 6 months published by the time that happened. So, I mean, it would have been great, but I also know it was done. I needed to move on, kind of thing. And then to have my judge just talk about the book so much and so well, and I really love the little Italian quote he gave it. It was like, it translated to, whatever you do, it's never good enough. And I kind of felt like that worked for Vikandi's point of view to his village. And because of his glowing information award and stuff, the audiobook started selling well around that time. And I believe, Mike, that's how you read it, right? Was the
Yeah.
audiobook? The narrator, Ethan, was the second person who auditioned for that book. And I was like, holy cow, narrators are amazing. I only had like one other one that was close to good, but I could not afford his skill at all. And I went with Ethan. He was great. But yeah, the Spiffo has helped out Sunset Sovereign again because it found various different groups because of the review I got already.
Yeah. So is The Unchosen, is that on audiobook?
No. I know. There is a narrator I was looking at, but again, his skill is something I can't afford yet. We'll work on there.
Fair. Yeah, I've have 3 of my books on audio, and I'm like, yep, I'll earn back that money one of these years. So-
It's a challenge on it. It's always fun when you see like some actually sell and everything, and that Excel sheet they give you, by the way, of orders is the most confusing thing.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like, congrats, you sold 20, you made $3.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even do the math. What happened?
Yeah, and then it's you sold 6 AL and 7 AOL, and I'm like, what does this even mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
none of it made sense, and then it also matters on the country that I came from too, which that's fine with me. But I kind of wish
Oh,
I just said that initially.
Timothy, been there many months.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. Can I harass you about your book yet or no?
Sure, if you must.
I do. Okay. Can I just say, I love how you did the complete of Chris into his own dad by the end. How he is with Alex and everything. Maybe a little darker, deeper off in the end on some choices, but that could be because Cornelius was defending him, that he didn't actually see the whole what
Right.
adults deal with. So maybe because Cornelius kind of was saying, we don't deal with this stuff, but I mean, he's dealing with Kiev. And how many times were they not actually dealing with drugs?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he probably knew, but he just didn't tell his son because he kind of hoped they could get a better chance of life. And you were just so consistent. I do always turn around, Poppy. You know me. She knows. I'm like, oh let's look at. I could get her. She's right there. I could get her book.
That's- Okay, we'll send an invite out to her, and we'll get her on here, and you can interview her too.
There you go.
Yeah.
She loves doing this kind of stuff. She's really good at it. But yes, from one of your world building notes that you were consistent of, and I literally closed my book, ran across my house, and I was talking to my husband, like, he's consistent. You had this snide remark, like not snide remark, but it was just Natalie said about like you can't. It's impossible to find or not Natalie. His girlfriend starts with a K.
Callista.
Callista, how she finding a sober and a pilot who doesn't gamble everything off, and one who's always on time is really hard to kind of like get. And then she mentions her brother later, and then also how, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at names, but it started with a V. Vikram made the
Yep.
also going, I'm gonna find a new pilot. Next later chapters, I cannot find a pilot. And you were just so consistent with random people saying that, and same with Keevan. Like the reason why you liked working with him and his dad was because they were consistent.
Yep.
I mean, they're there. Like I'm not known to like.
Come on, can't you like turn your head sideways and read the spine from back there?
I can't tie.
What's that on the other side of your shelf you're using as a bookend there?
This side?
Yeah.
Or the it's Japanese whiskey that I was gifted. I have a friend who's very into whiskeys, so he when he was traveling around for work got that for me, and it's called Huie.
Well, I'm glad to see it's empty at least. I was a little.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gotta try to finish my drinks.
Good deal. So, other than the 2 books that you have now, is that it, or are there others?
The second one of the series for the Unchosen comes out later this month, so that will be my 3rd book, and I'm trying to outline the next book of that series to wrap it all up. I'm trying to fix the middle. And then there is, they're 8x5s. I like to keep all my books the same height. It'll be hard for me to switch to Ingram because of that. But I'm trying to work on that web series on the side, and I want to build a backlog before I publish it online, just so that way there's like people push out a ton of chapters early on of a book. You want to have about 50,000 words ready to go with it, and have that going out within like 5 days kind of thing.
I missed all of what you just said. Everything just froze up again. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So yes, I have those.
That's fine. You don't need to repeat it on my account. Otherwise, we're all night just saying the same thing over and over and over again, because this is like the 5th time it's happened. So, about how long does it take you to finish a book?
Once I get my butt kicked into gear, I could do about 120,000 words in 3 to 4 months, and then I draft it. So
nice.
I'm pretty happy with that speed, and just because I generally only have like an hour, 2 hours at night to kind of write, and then I gotta just switch into that. And I don't write the cleanest draft, so I just go as I accept that I don't write clean, which helps me get out faster. I know, Poppy, you are good. She's not. She's read my. I did a very detailed outline for my series called "Honey, I Leveled the Kids," and she wants the rest of that out. So
it's nearly empty.
We're gonna have to top that off one day. They make great bookends. They really do.
So, Laura, do you do a lot of Comic-Cons or book festivals, or?
No, you saw me at my first wild one ever. Never been
Wow.
out. Yep. Before kids, I was trying to publish traditionally, and I didn't really go to cons too much due to like my work schedule. At the time, I used to work 6 days a week kind of stuff, so
Yeah, that's hard.
yeah. It's really hard to get out. And now, like, post pandemic and everything's happened, I have books and I'm trying to learn how to go out. The first cons I ever really knew about was through my mom, who was a writer, and she only went to the Romance Writers of America one, which used to be a really huge conference. But I never had interest of going to a romance one. That's not my genre.
That's where people are selling books.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the big difference.
That is a very big difference.
So what do you do for work now?
I am a coder. I do coding in the dark, in the basement, where there's no sun.
So you're just hitting a different set of keys.
Yeah, I jump. That's generally my life. Is I play with keyboard during the day, coding various stuff, and then I hang out with my kids, hop back on, do either writing or I play some video games and hit the keys again.
So does it bother you to no end when you see a movie and someone just sits down on a keyboard and just does this? It's like, we're in.
Yeah, no. Like they have a program. That's how they're doing that. They have a quick program already set up. Not, oh, let me quickly change something. Oh, it worked on the first try. That's a lie. Such a lie.
We have the nuclear codes.
Yeah.
You get a credit card number. You're not getting the nuclear codes.
Which used to be 0000. Fun fact. But yeah, that always bothers me. And also when they need to code faster and they're suddenly on the keyboard together.
Can't even have anybody on my side of the desk. It's like, get the hell away from me.
Yes, exactly.
Here's a fun fact: if you ever want to hack into a computer that's being run by someone in the military, start at the 1 key, 1QAZ, and then the next row hit Shift and go 2WSX, and then 3EDC, and then Shift 4RFV, and you will get into more computers than you think.
Depending on which level of clearance, because I know certain levels of clearance had to update their codes every 3 weeks.
No, not for classified stuff. I just mean people just have to.
Oh, in general, yeah.
In general, with their computers. No, the classified stuff is you're not getting that.
But that takes like 2 minutes of coding.
I mean, if you call that coding, yeah, then I code every day for writing too. Just hit the right keys. Yeah, no, I never wanted to combine, like when I was sending out query letters and they were like, talk about your job. And talk about yourself as a person. At the time, I was a chemist. And I was like,
woohoo! What are the freaking odds?
I know.
I'm sitting here with two chemists.
Oh, I didn't realize you were a chemist. What's your specialty?
Stupid with my.
Well, I'm not really a chemist anymore. I work in personal care, so I make sunscreens and shampoos. And,
I appreciate your business
shampoos.
A lot. For sunscreen, yeah. I appreciate it.
So yeah, it's. I mean, if you see the commercials like for hair conditioners where you just see women jumping around, with their heads and I'm like, there's no science in what I do anymore. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
The fun part is later this, as August kind of gets down there and you get really bright UV, Mike's head, they put a little pattern in it, like a grid pattern, and they try different formulations on his head to see which one burns and which one doesn't. So he kind of looks like a walking chessboard about the September timeframe. So,
fun fact, the last time I got to go visit customers before they told me I couldn't do it anymore, I'd been working in the yard that weekend. I got sunburn on the top of my head, and I had to go talk about shampoo and conditioners to a customer as my head is peeling and it looks like I have leprosy.
Why would they send you to talk about shampoo and conditioner? Is it are you the joke at the beginning of the speech?
Because at the time, that's what my specialty was rinse off formulas. So I made lots of shampoos and conditioners. And then they're like, no, we're not sending him ever again. Oh my God. What people are like, ew, I don't want to touch him.
That would be like, Ro, we want you to go talk to people about math.
Or Captain Janeway.
Shut up.
No, by the way, I totally get it. When I used to work at my chemistry job, it was a lot of being under the UV lights to kind of see how various colors were reacting to certain stuff. If I was under too long, which was stimulating sunlight, I would sunburn. So I had to start setting a timer to keep track how long I was in this hood. So yeah, I
You'd
get
fare
the
well in
sunburning on the
Alaska.
job. I'm sorry, what was that?
You would fare well in Alaska. You would never have to worry about that. Maybe like 2 weeks a year.
And I would just hide deep down in the basement in the cellar. Yeah. But then I come out and there's fresh watermelons. It's great.
Everything grows.
Oh, we missed a couple comments here. We still talk about Sunset Sovereign. We're definitely going to talk about that because that was an amazing book. But let's do some comments here.
You guys are all so sweet, saying that. It's in this field. This is so hard to feel like you're being heard at times, and especially when you keep seeing certain names over and over. You're like,
Yeah.
you raise your little flag, like, "Hey guys,
What am I doing wrong, and why am I continuing to do this? What
Yes.
is the point?" Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just always nice when someone just gives you that handout. And I've had various people in this community do that for me, and they just reach out and they're like, "Hey, what can I do for you?" And you're like, "Is this a bot scam? Holy cow, you're a real person."
Nigerian prince. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, they feel like that to me at times. With that person who has just 2,000 followers, I'm like, "You're real."
And all the people that we've had in the year that we've been doing this, who have taken time to sit here with us and watch us two morons do this, and commented in our chat section. Nobody's ever said anything horrible, right? I mean, we've never had to kick anybody out or turn anybody off. EL does it to himself, I think. He's 27 minutes in. He's due to go out anytime now.
Anytime.
Yeah, usually about a half hour, and they kick him off. So, but yeah, it's a great community, absolutely. Mike?
Okay, so Sunset Sovereign.
All right, I'm ready.
How long did it take you to write this?
So this was for a contest that I entered last year, and I was assigned the cover and the pen name, and the original title was The Sunset Sovereign. That was it. By CD Hook is what was on the cover. And I get to keep the cover for free if I write 10,000 words within 4 months and publish it on a certain date. That was the requirement. So I spent 4 months from being given this cover to publishing it.
Nice.
And you can't spend a penny. That was really hard.
You what?
You're not allowed to spend a single penny during this contest, and you can't use any previous connection.
How do they? I mean, that's very cool, but the Gen X part of me goes, how would they ever know?
It's kind of an honest system that kind of checks on the stuff, but you can generally know who's starting to spend money, and maybe they can't really keep track of connections, but if it's like, hey, this person re-popped up in this circle again, what are they doing? Now, at the same time, it's like, hey, I know this social media Twitter. I'm going to try to use Twitter to build my hype. Though, granted, now the algorithm for that is a nightmare. Luck on that. But, yeah, everyone gets audited. No, for Sunset Sovereign, actually, I did not have the story idea ahead of time. I rated my covers, and I only picked the Sunset Sovereign because my husband was like, "Wow, what a pretty cover. I want a dragon story one day." And I was like, "What's the chances of me getting the dragon book? I'll just mark that as my second option." I got it. And I had no story idea. While out mowing the lawn, I have a decent sized yard. I was just trying to figure out, how do I tell the story of a Sunset Sovereign, and who is the Sunset Sovereign in this situation? Is it looking at the cover? Is it people here?
So the cover was there with the title pre-made?
This is This has been redone by a friend of mine. I bought the original art from the artist. Wormtail is his name. It's a stock art actually, and you we brightened the colors. The original one was more purple.
Mhm.
If you look on Goodreads, you'll see the original version and the purple font down here saying CD book. A Dragon's Memoir was the subtitle I added once I got further along knowing what the story was about, which was about after I kind of had that outline done, and I was trying to figure out how. I knew of Erin's book because of Spiffle last year of the Sunset Sovereign, but I did not know of her book when I entered this contest. It was when I was collecting books in their ratings reviews for an article called Biffo Glow Ups to bring attention to books who had less than 15 ratings and reviews, try to help boost them. And I found her book, and I'm in the middle of writing this one, and I saw her book called The Sunset Sovereign,
Yep.
and I just panicked and froze. I was like, "Oh no, we gotta get our books different. I gotta make sure there's a way to tell it." So like, there's a lot of times I try to call it a Dragon's Memoir. I throw that always on there just so that way, if anyone searches The Sunset Sovereign, it will still be her book kind of thing.
Right.
Because she had it first in my mind. I just got assigned it.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was the framing narrative from a old dragon trying to tell his tale of everything that kind of happened.
And you wrote that, did you say in 4 months?
4 months. So that's including edits and everything.
Wow.
And I got beta
That's
feedback.
exceptional when you consider that you didn't even have an idea for the book when you started.
Yeah.
And you just had a clock start on you and go.
Yep. I had to send out beta for beta feedback by August, so I had to be done by August. I got the book at the end of May 27th. I got the book cover, and then August 3rd, I think it was 2nd, I gave out the initial rough draft to get feedback on.
Wow.
And that was your first book?
This is my second novel.
Your second, okay.
Yeah. No, I had experience of suffering through drafts and edits before then, and I knew I had to keep the book short if I wanted to have a chance to edit and fix it. So my original goal was to write only 20,000 words. It's 44,000. I tried, but it was definitely, yeah. Poppy was the one who also joined in on this, and Constance on there did the same thing. It was September and August are crazy months going through this. It's a fun challenge. Like, you get a free cover out of it. You could try new story ideas for free. You just got to keep everything anonymous. If you want to try winning the contest, you try working on the marketing end and getting ARC readers and everything, or you gamble it. Like the guy who won it the year before, his book was a lit RPG. It was a Dragon Companion, Two Brothers. That was the trope he went on. And he ended up pulling in the first month for that book. And because it was a rating review war, he got reviewed bomb right away when the book came out because it used the F word too much. So 1 star. He had a trigger warning in the blurb saying profanity is heavily used in this book. And for some odd reason, that caused a spiral of review, like kind of people trying to
That's
boost it up.
ridiculous, and it kind of pisses me off that you even said it. I mean, not you, obviously. It's
Yeah.
not your point. But I mean, can you imagine, Mike, if people like left reviews on this show at all, but because of swearing? I mean, first of all, we'd have a ton of reviews, which would be awesome. But you know, just get over yourselves. You're such people in this country are so damn precious. It just annoys the hell out of me.
There is a book in Spiffo, and I reported this review. Literally, the person complained that the font was not to their liking.
Well, they're really going to hate it where I tell them where to shove their font then.
Yeah, I just look at this. I was like, this tells you nothing about the book. Like, what was the point?
I didn't like your font. I mean, unless you write it in Comic Sans, which I think we can all agree should be reserved for sarcasm. So what?
Those people just are angry.
That's somebody being a hipster douchebag who's sitting there going, I can tell which font is which just by looking at it. It's like, yeah. Go type on your manual typewriter and drink your fucking chai latte or whatever. Anyway, sorry.
Hey, I love chai latte.
You got me upset now. This book couldn't even make it 2 pages before they started swearing. Just start right out with it, you know.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. It's in the preview.
There was no swearing, but the Fear and Loathing on Las Vegas. Have you ever read that by Hunter S. Thompson?
No, what's it about?
It's about drug use mostly. It starts out, we were somewhere outside of Barstow when the drugs began to take hold. That's the opening line of the book.
Okay.
Right?
I'm hoping there's drugs in the book.
There are loads.
Oh.
And it probably got a review of, no one told me there was going to be drug use in here.
Right. Well, no, I mean, this was back in the 60s. I think it was kind of, you know,
Standard.
you get a copy of the book when you buy a thing of zigzag papers or something.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
So, Laura, have you got a 1-star review yet for any of your books?
Actually, I'm super happy. I've collected all the stars for Sunset Sovereign.
Ooh,
I
nice.
think I got it. The 2-star was the last one I was waiting on. I don't know who it was or whatever, but I finally saw a good read. It was a 2-star, and I was like, yes.
Do you have it nearby? You can share it with us.
No, I mean, like Goodreads or something, or.
Oh, well,
So
okay,
is it
hold on.
just
on.
a rating or a review?
There wasn't a review. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I think the worst review I have so far for Sunset is a 3-star. I think.
Yep. So that's the same with me. I've got 1 and 2 ratings, but no one's left a review for 1 or 2 star. It's only been 3-star. And I'm like, I kind of want a 1-star review just because.
Because they're just fun. I mean, some of them are fun. Some are just, yeah, they're just mean. Yeah, no, I don't have a 2-star or 1-star review yet.
So, just sorry, I'm just reading this one at random, and they're starting by spelling something wrong. It says scrapping 3.5 stars, and I think they meant scraping, right? So right away you can put all your money into this person.
This one had decent feedback, though.
What's
I know
that?
what you're reading. This one had decent feedback, though, too.
The intentional use of cliches and tropes and their overturn, what the hell's that? Was a bit repetitive at the beginning, but the story kept me going to a satisfying ending. There you go. I started to like the dragon, even if he was annoying and a bit smug. So it's not bad.
I was like, I call that a compliment, though. Like, my dragon
and they
is
said
smug. Oh, dear.
They'll read more of your stuff. It was nice, had a D&D feel, not going to lie, but it was cute and it was nice.
It summarizes the book.
That summarizes the reviewer, probably. But anyway.
So,
but yeah.
Who was your favorite character, Mike?
The dragon.
The kind is just awesome.
I mean, you can't go wrong. And the thing is I'm like, oh my God, not another dragon. Everyone has a dragon in fantasy. And then that was my favorite.
Yeah, go figure. I'm like,
yeah, I know. Dragon 4 has a dragon on the cover.
Yeah, magic and dragons.
Do
you write like nice dragons or intelligent dragons or just big, toothy, mindless dragons?
You got to read the book.
Well, I didn't, so that's why I'm asking the question, man. Come on.
This one, I would call him just a nice dragon. Like, depends what side of the story you're on. I would call him a nice dragon. I don't know if I would consider him intelligent because he does make his own mistakes.
And do you have that soup recipe?
So you know how the author of Mushroom Blues has
Yeah.
growing mushrooms out of his
Yeah.
book? I was so tempted to get my author copy and start making soup with the book. Just as a, to help thicken the stew. Make sure to add some paper to it.
Words are nourishment. It's all good.
Oh,
You
that
make
is
it organic.
perfect. Yeah. No, so like that kind of soup, it would just be getting your roots and vegetables. Obviously, you need a very big game meat because I mean he was hunting bison a lot of times around. Like
Yes.
maybe you could use bison. I wouldn't recommend bear. Bear stew is terrible. Anyone who tells you bear is yummy is just wrong. It's always served for fruit for a reason to hide the gamey taste. And yes, so you gotta stick to the fattier animals like a bison to put it in there. Maybe you could add a mountain goat if you want, but yeah.
So when I went to Yellowstone, I had a bison meatloaf. So they actually said it was too not fatty enough, so they'd use 20% pork. And I'm like, that's very unexciting now.
You're gonna just eat the pork.
So yeah, that was, they said there's not enough fat in it, so therefore we were going to throw in 20%. I'm like, oh, why are you charging me this much then? So
I want a discount on a fifth of this.
Yeah.
But bacon, so it's all.
Oh, that's usually the solution is throw some bacon on top to hide it. Yeah.
It's absolutely the solution.
I mean, Papa, I lived in Michigan for a bit. It's a heavy hunting crowd. You can get hold of a lot of different meats in that area.
Was it Upper Peninsula, Michigan, or?
No, I was in Lower Detroit area.
Okay, so you're not crazy. Okay.
That was
Where
my
do you find
camera
bison in Detroit?
What was that?
Where do you find bison in Detroit?
Well, bison I actually ate when I lived in New Mexico and when I went to Yellowstone. Because there's actually some bison farms out in New Mexico along with ostrich.
Huh.
That too.
Okay, sure.
Rattlesnake. Don't recommend again.
Really? Rattlesnake is not good?
You don't get that much for cost.
Okay.
Like if you just want the experience, then yay. But just cook some chicken overcooked in the microwave.
Kind of like alligator then. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually think alligator was better.
Yeah. Crocodile not good either. Way over.
I've confused some of you.
I think chicken is really the ultimate kind of proof of God, right? Because he just ran out of what things should taste like. So it's like, I'm just going to make it taste
Do you
like
think he was just hoping we could taste dinosaurs now that they're gone? Like, your guy, so I'm going to condense it down into this feathery creature.
Sure.
You could say you ate dinosaurs.
Well, if you had alligator, you kind of have.
They predated the dinosaurs.
That's right.
So,
So what is your next book you're working on, Mike?
So
I remember at the con you said you were going to continue. I believe you have Becoming a King next.
No. I'm trying to infuriate anyone who reads my stuff, so I'm starting a third series. The series is Disciples of a Fallen God, and book 1 is Death's Champion. And yeah, I have a 45-year-old dwarven woman and a 14-year-old boy who don't like each other. And they both serve the same god. They don't know who the god is yet, and they're stuck together.
Now, is this they were forced to serve? Like they are servants in this place, or?
So the dwarven woman is a cartographer, and her father is a royal cartographer, but his eyes are going. And so she was pushing, why don't you retire, make me be the royal cartographer? And he's, no, absolutely not. So she has a little, problem with authority. So she shaved her beard and her hair and showed up to the throne room bald. And they kicked her out of the city or they're going to, and then she's like, no, I'm going to pledge to be a paladin. And then God spoke to her, and she becomes a paladin, but she doesn't know what God it is.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
then they kind of didn't believe her, and they kicked her out. And then she found the 14-year-old kid who's the seer who speaks for the god, since the god doesn't want to tell them who he is yet.
So you finally got that medical marijuana license, huh, Mike? That's the most random bunch of stuff I've ever heard. I mean, it sounds great.
It does.
But, man, what are you thinking? That's a lot of very odd paths to go down all at once.
So I will tell you the one compliment that I have put above all else, and if anyone has ever said, and it was said by Ben Kahn of Bengus Kahn Book Reviews, and he didn't know I was there. He's like, man, with Mike's book, I never know what's going to happen next.
It's
and
great.
I'm like, yes, you could not have said anything else to make me happier than that.
Unless he reads chapter 19 of your new book, and then he knows exactly what's going to happen because it just happened in chapter 18. Sorry.
So, and that chapter, my brother was thrilled when I told him this, because when I was like, okay, he's going to go to a strip club. I need a name for it. It's on Mars. I can't think of anything. And without missing a beat, he goes, the Zero G Spot. And I'm like, yes.
Like he's had that loaded for years, just waiting for a chance to use it.
He was in the Navy, so he probably went to name that. But, he says it just came off the top of his head. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to investigate any further, so we'll just go with that.
Did you ask him for advice for writing that chapter out too? Did he? Because I mean, that's totally norm for people.
That would be a really awkward conversation to have with your brother. Yeah.
No.
So moving on from that real quick, Isaac says, what cons do you guys recommend for indie publishing? Any of them. Find one you can get in, Isaac. Find your a Comic-Con near you. Sometimes there's a lot of small ones that are just one-day shows that cost like $50. Go to one of those first and see how it goes.
How do you find those? So that is all news to me.
Word of mouth. You go to one and you ask everybody else who's there and say, what other shows do you know of? And then they're quite happy to tell you what shows. And then you just kind of start finding them like that. And then you'll start looking for them, right? But the ones that are going to be advertised well are generally the larger ones.
Which, they're advertising. So,
Yeah.
So, Laura, you're not near Grand Rapids, Michigan, or not too? Or I mean, how far away are you from there?
Probably 8 hours now.
Oh, okay. Because I've had 3 separate people, 3 separate cons tell me that is a great con, and you should really go there. And I looked, and it's like 12, 13 hours for me, and it's in November, I think. And I'm like, I'm not going to Michigan in November on a 12 or 13 hour.
The worst case, it's sleet out there.
Yeah, well, I have to drive in that.
Mike, we'll go up. We'll get in one vehicle together. I can drive in snow. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I used to. I drove there all the time in Michigan, driving a Ford Fiesta. That thing sled on ice. You get the best gas mileage. Never have to hit the accelerator or brakes.
So wheel drives are no fun in the ice and snow, though. You really need a back wheel drive to get the full experience.
Yes.
I do not go to Fanboy Columbus.
No, God, no. That just sucks ass. Don't go there.
That's why it's a fanboy one.
But hey, you could talk to Eric Estrada, apparently.
You can. You can meet him in the bathroom where he will be very depressed as well. Like nobody was there. It was just a big empty. Yeah, anyway.
I gotta look around. So see, I gotta look for other ones to try to check out.
Fanboy Expo in Tennessee, though, is supposed to be really, really good. Yeah. So, to be fair to the people at Fanboy Expo, the one in Columbus, it was the first year they did it there, and they did not do it well. But the one in Tennessee gets really good reviews.
So I can tell you for the Columbus Book Festival.
Sorry, Mike.
No. So for the Columbus Book Festival, that is a little disheartening. The people on either side of me sold out, and then I'm just left with an empty table on either side. But that's really, no one would buy more than book one. And I mean, if you think about it, you have like 160 authors there. Are you going to buy 6 of one person's book, or 6 different books by 6 different people? So
that was a book show, right? I mean, that
was Columbus Public Library. So
book show, yeah.
So yeah,
I will say this: your covers did stand out really well. Compared to a lot of the other ones that were there, some covers just felt like they really did use KDP Select and chose the basic font there. I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you want. The people to my right were selling that. She kept saying it's like Divergent, and I'm like, shoot me. Of course, I end up trading her books so that, I have her book now, but that's because I trade books with people and then I take it into the USO and put it in the shelf. So I figure somebody will probably like that. Not me, but
So with your mic, with Haley's Traveler mic, you used to say it's like 50 Shades.
50 Shades of Space.
50 Shades 0G. just
Twice over.
What's that?
Twice over in that chapter.
Right. If it didn't get you the first time, it's sure to get you the second.
There's a follow-up.
But Comic-Con's not so much a regular book show, but a regular Comic-Con. If you're writing fantasy, Isaac, everybody who walks into the door to Comic-Con reads fantasy. You don't even have to ask. They just do. And I won't say often, but it happens often enough where it's not unheard of that somebody who has maybe read one of your books, or maybe not, will just come up and say, give me one of everything.
Yep.
Wow.
It will absolutely make your freaking day when it happens, right? But they'll just take or I've had people come up and say, just give me the whole string in hardback. It's like, yes, sir, absolutely.
Find the ribbon on top and everything.
Yep.
And I will tell you, I was very much like, good for you, Ro. Then grumbling. We were at booths next to each other at downtown Blacksburg, and the guy came up. He's like, I'll take one of all of your books in hardback. And Ro had, 6-book series. Fantastic. He comes, I'll take one of all your books in hardback. I'm like, I have 2 books. So Ro sold like 8, and I'm like, I only have 2. So, but I mean, yeah.
You have how many now, though?
I now have 5.
And I still only have 9, so you're okay.
So, and I will say this sword right here, if you hadn't heard that, Gladius, the guy across from me was selling the weapons, and he's like, hey, I'll trade you your pick of any sword for your 4 books in hardback.
Wow.
So yeah, sometimes you get lucky and you get that. Of course, since I got the Gladius, I then had to buy all those other weapons because it looked lonely.
When I went to Book Columbus, I bought a book and I got 2 swords. I love it. You give my 2 boys 4 and 2 swords before I even pull away. They're like, yeah.
Those are, for anybody who doesn't know, those are Mike's. He gives those away with his books.
Yes, these are awesome.
They're little cocktail swords, or whatever they are, but much better than a paper bookmark.
I mean, this one could work as long as you're really careful.
Oh, so I have not got to ask you a silly question yet.
What the hell have we been doing for 54 minutes?
Well, I take that back. I've asked you silly questions, but not from my list. How about that?
Okay.
So would you like a silly question, or would you like to enter the Bald Dome?
Wait, no. I'm keeping this. I got a ponytail. I gotta hold on.
So the Bald Dome is, your character is put in a situation. So what character of yours are you going to choose?
I'll go with, if I have, okay, I'll have to pick from the book you read, just so that way it's Sunset Sovereign. I will go with Kenezban Const III, the mercenary.
Okay, so now a whole bunch of dice. And
He just throws those dice around and makes up a number. He only actually has like 4 questions. The dice are just for sound effects, just show.
So your sword for hire is sent to a magical library filled with arcane knowledge.
Ooh.
Oh, happy. What can he steal?
He is given a green fizzy potion that is magic. He does not know what it does. And now you have to make a decision. He can get a regular item or he can get a weapon. But if he gets a weapon, he has to fight a magical creature. If he gets a regular item, he's going to fight a regular animal. So which does he want? Or she?
They were they.
They.
They the I'm gonna go with probably weapon so they can sell it later. Because I mean that's all they're about is making money.
You better not be fighting that damn little thumbnail size thing that we made on the last thing of creature creation there, Mike.
I was so hoping you were going to pick a common item because you would have got a wagon wheel. But you chose a weapon, so you get a war club. So marginally better.
A wagon wheel's like 8 war clubs.
If he has time to break it open, sure. And
Frisbee,
and if you had that wagon wheel, you would have had to fight a hippo. But instead, you have your war club, and you are fighting a number 10, which is a frost giant. Go.
So happy it's not the hippo. Hippos are special to me. I own like 40 of them around the house. So
Okay, so has a war club and a magic potion that you don't know what it does. And you're
get in the library.
Do what?
How did the frost giant get in the library?
Don't know. That's up to our storyteller to tell us. And how does this resolve itself?
Ken has been just walks in. It's a typical job. Grab the item, head out. Of course, it's never typical.
Right.
Never. There's always information hiding. That's why the money's so good. They don't tell you all of it up front. And of course, they give a little teaser on the side of, just to toss it in, I'll give you this bottle. But the client, like always, leaves them hanging. Don't say what the bottle is, what it could do, and don't know if they should drink it or not. Would this be the best night of their lives and they don't remember it because, well, they don't get to it tomorrow? Or they drink and chug it and have the best powers ever been, and just a little muscle tenderness from this ice giant giving them a little frost bite.
So, Laura, I have to tell you, the one rule I did not tell you is the potion. If you want to throw it at the frost giant, it will affect him the exact same way. So whoever, you can throw it or you can drink it either way, and it will affect the person.
Then with this being Ken has been the third, a regular at the bar, and knows what ice does to a beverage, he tosses it. Either he's going to get the best mixed, not stirred, drink on there. He'll just grab it while he fights the monster. Breaks it off with the new, you said Warhammer? Or was it a mace?
War club.
War club. I apologize. He'll use the war club to knock it off and drink it once this fight's done. So he'll throw it.
Okay, so it is a potion of animal friendship. So now the frost giant.
Is the frost giant a friend and animal?
Well, now the frost giant has the ability to befriend animals, which doesn't matter at all here. But thank you for using the potion. No one ever uses the potion.
Can't drink it.
One of them is a love potion, but you did not get that.
Did this freeze on you as well? Just me?
Just you.
Because she threw the potion. I don't know what happened after that.
It was the potion to allow you to befriend animals. So now the ice giant can befriend animals that happen to be in the library.
Oh, excellent.
Are there any mice? I mean, there's generally mice roaming around.
Sure.
Oh, no.
So now you have an ice giant who can get an army of mice if he wants them so much against a mercenary with a war club.
War club is just not really Ken has been Khan's weapon of choice. I mean, during the Battle of the War, he was, bow and hammer, and he had a sword. Decoration. He's a bard. So yeah, fighting. He's a little doomed. He can't sing and lull this ice giant down with the The mice are pesty, sorry. So he is strumming out their last tune, going, "This is the end." It's a bit chilly.
Doors tune for you. Nice.
Yeah, no auto tunes going on right now, and with the library, the acoustics are horrible. So because that was their choice to do, they got hit by the ice giant. I'm gonna go with.
Okay, well, thank you. The first time we did this, the person said with their war club they would take down a griffin. So I appreciate that you're a little more realistic here.
They don't fight with that; they'd be doomed.
What did they do?
They just pull out their loot and accept their doom. They can't fight with the war.
They're just rolling over and giving up.
Yes, I mean they were really hoping for a drink.
Could they not try talking to the ice giant, Mike? I mean, maybe the ice giant has an overdue book and the ice giant owes him money.
I'm not the one telling the story. I am merely giving the premise.
Okay.
Well, it's an ice giant. How fast are ice giants? They're not exactly known for being slick. They kind of thump along. If you want me to stretch this out, then fine. The ice giant continues over, and everything does get a bit slippery as the water condenses down, and Ken Esmond is just hot, hot, hot. Not on this action, though. He slides down through the ice giant and tries to hammer into the knees.
And then your guy takes out a copy of Mike's book and hands it to the ice giant, opens it up to chapter 18, and the ice giant instantly grabs it and settles down into a cushy sofa and says, "Oh, this looks good." And then he kind of sits there and snarks a little bit because he's really uncomfortable by the whole situation going on in that particular chapter, and your dude can get away.
Ooh.
There we go. I like Rose.
So after you finish book 2 in your series that is coming out in 3 weeks and a day from today,
I'm so excited.
What is next? Since this one has been done for a while, you must have something else already started.
I am trying to make sure I get 3 done because I'm lined up with my artist. Actually, she is going to be redoing the cover also of book 1, and she is doing book 3. So I'm trying to make sure I have the key stuff that I need on the cover without giving anything away, of what to give her direction on. We kind of have a general idea, and especially with the ending that's going to happen, I still think it will work. We'll probably have to fix a little bit of it. I just want a confirmation of that. So I'm going to finish book 3. If I get burnt out while writing that, because it's the 3rd book, I have a feeling this one's going to be probably 140,000 words, so it's going to take me probably 5 months to actually sit down and get out.
40,000 words might take me 5 months. You know that's how people hate you when you say things like that, right?
I'm slow. So this web series I'm working on, man, I'm in a community that were like, it was a bad day. I got 3,000 words in.
Oh, I don't like those people. I don't know them, but I don't like them.
No. Yeah,
exactly. I think
5 whole months.
I mean, that's just like the first basic draft. Dev edits happen next, and with how I have the outline done, I only have to go through, do the dev edits, and then it goes off to the editor. So 2 months after, it's then ready. So 6 months is what I just got to kick my butt into gear.
And Bo with the best news of the whole show.
I want to know who read it. I am actually really excited to know what review and who wrote it or read it. So I'm really happy with how that book came out, just because I grew as a person and also rethought about what I wish I could see more in writing instead of it just being an escapism. What do I wish I could read more of? And adding those kind of features was really, really important to, I guess, kind of me. And it also kind of fixed some problems. Like Winston, the male lead of the story, he originally would go dive after Fia, but then when I kind of rethought about it, one, that's a flat story arc, like no other. Just the guy always in love, the knight in shiny armor. I'm not a romance writer. So I realized how else would he actually react thinking about his story, and that ending just switched. Yeah, we got to get you that tattoo on.
So since you mentioned it, there it is in all its glory, or where it will be in all its glory. We just need 218 more subscribers. And actually, Adrian Gibson from Mushroom Blues, he told me if I go to Worldcon next year, he would do the tattoo for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So there you go.
But you got to go to Seattle.
Well, I plan on going to Seattle next year.
Okay, because there are tattoo artists much more locally.
Yes, but
with their equipment there.
Worldcon is going to be in Seattle.
All right.
I was gonna say I do like the lawnmower though.
I kind of agree, Bo. I like the lawnmower better. But he said if we get to 750, he'll get goats on the other side.
Yeah,
I'm down with the goats too.
There you go.
Maybe even a haystack between them. Because if the guy has a scythe, it has to be going somewhere. I got a very large canvas, so
And I appreciate that you are the one selling your head for this.
Oh, you don't see where I do the tweets and say, Rose getting one too to match.
Like, no. Ro is tatless, and he shall probably remain so. Yeah. But if he does, he's not getting any of those things.
Oh. So, Laura, you got a book in 3 weeks coming out. You got the best book of the year, or one tied for best book of the year between you and EL, even though EL's gone for a while now. He's been banned, apparently.
Oh, are you talking about this one?
I'm talking EL's book, which I actually have a physical copy of so I can show. I do not for Laura's, but...
Oh, well.
Sadly, but...
I feel bad. I had a copy for you.
Oh.
I had a copy in my purse, a giant mom bag. I had one. So if you want to give me your address, I have a signed copy for you.
So I was thinking I actually might do a shelf like behind me of like Mike's 5-star reads and just do that. But I don't know.
You have to read something.
The problem I have is when I trade books with people, this has happened to me several times where they're like, oh, I read your book. I gave it 5 stars. I'm like, I don't really give a lot of 5 stars out. And I never promised you I would. And the one I'm reading in its short story collection, the first one, the protagonist is a commandant at a Nazi concentration camp. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot feel any sympathy for this character in any way, shape, or form. Just no. And I'm like, what? How do I review this now? Because he's like, I reviewed your book. I'm like,
yeah, but my book didn't have any fucking Nazis in it.
I'm like, yeah, you probably don't want my review. So, yeah, I don't know what to do. So I always, when people are like, you want to trade books? That's when I'm like, I'm going to take yours and give it to the USO. I'm not going to read it. Just telling you that up front. Do not make me have to get stuck with this again.
You might want to find a better idea for your bookshelf behind you than mine.
So, I mean,
go a different direction.
I'm very grumpy when it comes to reading. I give very few 5 stars. So, there wouldn't be many on the shelf if I did it. I can only think of 3, maybe 4 right now. So,
to EL's comment in here, I didn't see Schindler's List or read it. I don't think the main character was a commandant of a concentration camp, though, was he?
No, he was actively trying to sabotage.
Like you say, it's going to be really difficult to get behind that guy. Mike's bookcase of DNFs. Outstanding. There you go.
There we go.
So, Laura, you are going to be book 3. You'll be done with probably next month because you've been writing it for several months now. So when is it going to come out? Any ideas?
I would love if it could come out August this next year. That way I have the time to... I don't rush. I do not like rushing. I do that enough in life.
This is the kind of thing that happens, Mike, when you don't start writing when you're 50.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of take your time a little bit with this stuff.
You don't have to, I got to get this done before I'm dead.
That's right. Every time you move, something freaking creaks or breaks or sprains, and you go, damn it.
And now I'm starting a third series. I have 3 series now.
I threw out my back yesterday, and I'm doing this interview with the guys, so it's great. I stood up, so I get it.
Take your Motrin 1,600 milligrams at a time. Best thing for a bad back.
That's what I did. Yeah. Yeah. And I have to walk.
That is not medical advice
that,
to anybody out there listening. That is far in excess of the recommended dosage. But in the service, they would give us Motrin at 800 milligrams a pill, and you take 2 or 3 of those, and it set you right. Be okay. So they call it vitamin M, baby.
I used to do the 1600 actually, because when I suffered bad migraines, that's what they would do. So yeah, that's rare. There you go. If you can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I do appreciate you guys having me on. I'm happy I had a chance to gush about your book. Like, I really, really did enjoy that. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
And Ro, I'm gonna get to yours next.
That's right. Mike's book actually was really good. I went into it not reading a lot of sci-fi, and I was very pleasantly surprised. And the same thing with this here from E.L. Adrift in the Next Revolution is actually very good as well.
I've actually not read this book from E.L., but I did read his novella, To Catch a Witch. Highly recommend this. It's also very thin. This is a Mike Link book.
Yeah, there you go, Mike. Thanks to the folks who joined us for the first time tonight. Lovely to have you on. Please like and subscribe, leave comments, do whatever you need to do. And Mike, you got anything else?
I do not. Our next guest is not until next week.
We have a week off.
Woo-hoo. Yep. And I don't know if it's Tim McKay or if it's E.L. Montague, but they're back to back. And so we're going to be down one of our best commenters because they're going to be interviewing them. So we need more people to show up.
No, actually, Michael, the 13th of August is Herman Stornagel and Alex Schuerman.
You're right. You're right.
And then the 14th, you set us up 3 days in a row, man.
I did.
The 14th of August is Tim McKay, and the 15th is E.L. Montague.
There you go.
At the end of the month, on the 30th, put this on your calendars. We have Unpublished Writers Have Questions. That's always a good time.
All we need are unpublished writers now. I got so many people have liked that and reposted my thing on Twitter, and not a single unpublished writer has contacted me. And I put it on Instagram, and same thing. So if you know an unpublished writer,
if you know somebody who's thinking about taking that step off a cliff, have them chat with us on the 30th. Give us a call first. Find us on X.
We have Melissa Stone in there helping. So, I mean, as I put in the graphic, I'm the slacker in this group with only 5 books published. And the other 2 have 21 combined.
50.
She has 12 books.
Yes, Melissa Stone has 12 books. She's a developmental editor. She's a proofreader. You're a line editor. I'm a slacker who has 5 books and has done everything wrong.
At least you've done it. So friends don't let friends become writers. Yeah, that's
Yes.
fair.
Yes.
Bo, you're not a writer. Do you want to be?
All right, let's get out of here before he makes up his mind.
Okay.
Laura, thank you very much. Appreciate
Yes.
you joining us. Good time. Thank you for drinking the potion, or at least throwing it. That was a first.
Yep. And Wave Awkward. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And we're not out.